Your bean-to-cup machine promises you exceptional coffee, but the result in your cup leaves you perplexed or even disappointed? Well, you're not alone. The good news is you're probably just a few simple adjustments away from a much tastier and better espresso. Hi everyone and coffee lovers, welcome to Cafe Lista. My name is Colin. On this channel we break down the world of coffee to give you simple, precise and above all independent advice so that every cup is a real pleasure. Today we are going to talk about those little things that can turn your dream of the perfect homemade espresso into, well, let's say, somehow disappointing experience. If your espresso looks more like a colored water than a real espresso shot, there is a good chance that you're making, without even knowing it, at least one of those three mistakes. But don't panic, stay until the end because the solution is often much simpler than you think. So, the first mistake is a classic. Using way too much water for your espresso. And you know, many bean-to-cup machines are programmed with sometimes a default volume for an espresso or even a double espresso. And that volume is often well beyond the 35 to 45 milliliter we would aim for a truly balanced double espresso. We easily end up with coffee flirting with like 50 or even 60 milliliters. So we think, great, a big cup of coffee, but is it really what we want for an espresso? Well, you might know the answer is no. For a double espresso, after about let's say 40-50 milliliters of water has passed through the coffee puck, most of the good aromas are already in the cup. Everything that flows after that is mainly water picking up bitter compounds, diluting the flavors you managed to extract well at the beginning. So the result, a coffee that lacks body and developed sometimes a not always pleasant bitterness. How does that work? I promise, it's simple. Soluble solids, what makes the coffee taste like coffee, the oil, sugar, acids are mostly released in the first 20 to 30 seconds of the extraction. If you continue to run water well beyond that, you mainly extract compounds that can be very bitter, like certain tannins, and it will be everything we don't want in our cup. Imagine the difference. On one hand, an over-extracted espresso, let's say 60 milliliter or more. The crema here is often thin, the color is light, the taste can become bitter, diluted. If we measure the TDS to measure the extraction, we are probably here around 3 or 4%. It's not what we want for an espresso. On the other hand, a double espresso, balanced, calibrated around 40 milliliter. The crema here is thicker, it's rich, the flavors are much more balanced, much more concentrated. If we measure the TDS, we will be around 8 or 9%. This is usually what we get on a super automatic coffee machine. It's a much better concentration, it's much better body. The solution here, well, you guessed, it's quite simple. Go into your machine setting and reprogram the volume. The best would be to be able to weight the dose of your coffee to really adjust that precisely. But for now, let's just do it simple. We will start here with something between 35 to 45 milliliter. And above all, the most important here, taste it. You should immediately notice a denser body, more flavor, a much cleaner and a more pleasant aftertaste. And honestly, it could change a lot. For those who want to go even further and really master their machine, to say goodbye to blend coffee once and for all, I have prepared a little guide for you. It will show you the key settings not to forget to be able to adjust your machine correctly. And yes, those are automatic coffee machine, but without adjustments, the coffee is often very mediocre. The good news here, it's totally free. You will find the link right there in the description. Don't hesitate to check it out. Second problem, and not a minor one, the quality and freshness of your bean. Because when we start with a bean-to-cup machine and our coffee usually is quite bland, we are often tempted, especially if we go in the supermarket, to buy those bags with intensity 10, dark roast, espresso roast, and you know they are prominently displayed. But there is a problem here. Be wary. These coffees have often been roasted months ago or even longer. The issue with beans that are too old is that the aromatic oils that contain tend to solidify, oxidize, and the CO2 essential for a beautiful crema has already disappeared. The result here is less crema, of course, but also flat aromas and often a smoky or charred bitterness that takes over. Again, not what we want for espresso. If the roast is too dark, it's often the case with the industrial dark roast we find in the supermarket. The sugars that develop during the Maillard reaction, the one that gives the good toasted bread and caramel flavor, the one we want, tend to change and to simply turn into a burnt taste. The solution here, you've guessed it, always choose a coffee, if you can, with a clearly indicated roasting date. Ideally, consume it within 6 to 8 weeks after this date. And also, if you're starting out and if you don't like overly pronounced bitterness, I would advise to opt for a medium roast. You will get a more developed sugar, more aromatic complexity, less of that burnt bitterness. And for storage, a bag with a valve stored away from light is pretty good. In the machine, if you drink your coffee fast, is also good. Now the third mistake, and this one is crucial for the bean-to-cup machine with a built-in grinder. This is using a grind that's too coarse. Okay, it's maybe the main problem in the espresso world, or it is at the beginning, I think. And often here at the beginning, out of fear or complexity, or because the factory setting is also quite high, we can have the tendency to leave the grinder on a setting like 5 or 6, for example, on a scale of 12 or 13 for the Philips or the DeLonghi. The problem here is that a grind that is too coarse, the water rushes through the coffee puck. There isn't enough resistance, not enough contact time between the water and the coffee. And if we cumulate here our first problem, a bad coffee and a grind too coarse, you can imagine what we're gonna have here in the cup. Yes, this is called under extraction. Your coffee will be pale, it will be very watery, acidic, with no body. In short, not what we want for an espresso, quite the opposite. Why the grind size is so important? Because the finer the grind, the more small surfaces you create that exchange aroma with the water. And furthermore, under high pressure, 9 or 15 bar on those machines, if the grind is too coarse, the water will flow way too fast. I'll show you the difference and what it looks. On the first shot, 8 seconds of extraction. It is extremely fast. This is a coarse settings. The grinder is set up on 6. And yes, it tastes quite watery. It's not really good. On the second shot, it is around 25 seconds of extraction. I tightened the grinder to a finer settings. Look, this time we have much more crema, a better volume. The TDS, if we were to measure, we would be around 9% here probably. Can you imagine the difference in taste and texture? It is night and day. So how do we adjust this without messing everything up? The solution is to observe and go step by step. While your coffee is brewing, watch the flow carefully. If it becomes light, almost transparent, extremely fast in less than maybe 8 seconds, it is a sign your grind is probably too coarse. In this case, next time, after you start your coffee, when your grinder is working, tighten your grinder by just one small notch. So just one, you don't want to block anything. Always adjust bit by bit, and most importantly, test every time after. And there you have it. We have looked at the 3 common mistakes that once corrected can radically change the quality of your coffee in your cup. And frankly, if you correct just the 3 points, water volume, the bean freshness, quality, the grind fineness, I guarantee that you will notice a huge difference, maybe even by tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, you can leave a thumbs up down below. Don't hesitate to ask any question. I'm here to help you get the better coffee possible. But don't leave yet. If you like that video, I'm pretty sure you will enjoy this one here. As usual, I'll see you soon. I hope you have a good week. Ciao.